Lorena Ochoa didn't come from a golf dynasty or some privileged background. Nope. She was born in 1981 in Guadalajara, Mexico, to a real estate dad and an artist mom. Not exactly the typical sports star recipe, right? You'd think with those odds, she'd be picking up a paintbrush or doing some real estate paperwork by the time she grew up. Instead, this girl found herself on a golf course at the age of 5, taking swings like she was born for it. And get this, on her very first time on the course, she nails a hole-in-one. I mean, come on, who does that at 5? While most kids are busy losing crayons and maybe mastering the art of snack time, Lorena Ochoa was already making people raise their eyebrows. That hole-in-one wasn't a fluke, it was just the beginning. By the time she was 6, Lorena wasn't just swinging clubs for fun, she was out there winning tournaments. That's right, winning. She took home her first state title at an age when most of us were still figuring out how to tie our shoes. And from there, she was on a roll. Fast forward a few years, and her talent had already become the stuff of local legend. This wasn't your average kid hobby. Lorena was tearing through the competition like they didn't even stand a chance. By the time she hit 11, she had already caught the attention of Rafael Alarcón, one of Mexico's top golfers. And here's the best part. She wasn't some shy kid looking for a pat on the head. She went right up to him and said, "I want to be the best golfer in the world. Can you help me?" Talk about bold. And instead of brushing her off, Alarcón looked at her and knew this girl wasn't messing around. From the moment Lorena got serious about the game, she was a wrecking ball in the junior golf circuit. No one could touch her. She piled up 22 state event wins and 44 national titles before she even hit 18. I mean, let that sink in for a second. At an age where most kids are trying to navigate high school drama and maybe land a summer job, Lorena was out here collecting trophies like it was her full-time gig. She wasn't just winning in Mexico either. People around the world started noticing this pint-sized powerhouse with a killer swing. Golf commentators, coaches, and even her competition couldn't stop asking the same question. Where did she come from? The answer was simple. Lorena wasn't just a product of her environment. She was rewriting the game's script, one win at a time. In 2000, Lorena took the next big step in her career. She accepted a golf scholarship to the University of Arizona. For someone as talented as her, college golf should have been a breeze, right? Well, Lorena didn't just breeze through. She set the NCAA on fire. In her sophomore year, she broke an NCAA record by winning her first 7 events. 7 straight wins. Can you imagine the buzz on campus? While most college kids are trying to survive midterms and cramming for finals, Lorena was out there rewriting record books. Her performance was so jaw-dropping that in 2001, she became the youngest athlete and the first golfer ever to win Mexico's National Sports Award. And guess who handed her the award? The freaking president of Mexico, Vicente Fox. That's next-level recognition. But Lorena was never the type to get comfortable. After 2 years in college, she started feeling like a big fish in a small pond. College golf just wasn't cutting it anymore. She had bigger dreams, bigger plans. So in 2002, she made a decision that would change the course of her life. She left school early to turn pro. That's a risky move for any athlete. But Lorena? She didn't see it as a risk. She saw it as an opportunity to finally compete on the biggest stage. And let me tell you, she owned that stage from the get-go. By the time 2003 rolled around, she was on the LPGA Tour, leaving a trail of victories in her wake. Lorena's transition to professional golf wasn't just a smooth one, it was a takeover. From the moment she turned pro in 2002, it was like she had flipped a switch, and suddenly, the golfing world was her playground. You know how some athletes take a couple of years to find their groove? Yeah, that wasn't Lorena. She hit the Futures Tour running, bagging 3 victories right out of the gate. Then she effortlessly secured her LPGA Tour card for 2003, like it was just another box to tick off on her way to total domination. In her rookie season, Lorena didn't slow down. She put on a show, racking up 8 top 10 finishes, including 2 runner-up spots that had everyone talking. By the end of that year, she was already Rookie of the Year and ranked 9th on the LPGA money list. 9th! And let's be real here, this wasn't some feel-good Cinderella story. Lorena wasn't just some up-and-coming star. She was redefining what it meant to be a rookie on the LPGA Tour. The golf world was starting to realize that they weren't just looking at the next great golfer. They were witnessing the rise of someone who could go down as the greatest. But it wasn't until 2004 that Lorena truly started putting the world on notice. That year, she claimed her first LPGA Tour victories. The Franklin American Mortgage Championship, hers. The Wachovia LPGA Classic, She took that too, and with every win, the legend grew. At that point, it was like she had developed a sixth sense for winning. No matter the competition, Lorena found ways to come out on top, and if she wasn't winning, she was right there in the mix, always pushing herself further. The momentum carried right into 2006, which turned out to be the real breakout season for Lorena. That's when she exploded with 6 tournament wins, becoming the #1 golfer on the LPGA money list. 6 wins in a single season is ridiculous in golf. It's a grind of a sport, where consistency is key, and even the best can struggle to maintain form. But Lorena wasn't like the others. She was dominating every course she touched, and her crowning moment came when she tied the record for the lowest round in a major tournament with a jaw-dropping 62 at the Kraft Nabisco Championship. That performance wasn't just a statement, it was a warning shot to the rest of the tour. If they thought they had seen the best of her, they were dead wrong. Lorena Ochoa was just getting started, and the golfing world was about to get swept up in the perfect storm that was her 2007 season. In 2007, Lorena went from being great to being absolutely unstoppable. She didn't just win her first major championship. She won it at the home of golf, the iconic Old Course at St. Andrews. That win was the first of many that season. She racked up 8 victories, including back-to-back-to-back wins at one point, joining the ranks of legends like Annika Sorenstam. She became the first woman to earn more than $4 million in a single season. Yeah, $4 million. Lorena wasn't just winning titles, she was rewriting the financial landscape of women's golf. By the end of that year, she was firmly cemented as the world's #1 ranked golfer. The crazy part? She made it look effortless. With all that momentum, Lorena could have coasted to an even greater legacy. I mean, she was only 28, in her absolute prime, and seemingly on her way to become the undisputed greatest of all time. But then, in April 2010, she did something that left the entire world of sports speechless. She retired. At a press conference in Mexico, Lorena smiled, waved, and dropped the bomb. "I'm done." People in the room couldn't believe it. She was at the peak of her powers. Why would she walk away now? What happened? When asked why she was retiring, Lorena explained that she wanted to start a family and focus on her charitable work. It seemed like a simple, wholesome answer. But let's be real. Fans and analysts couldn't help but think there had to be something more. After all, this was Lorena Ochoa, the woman who was born to dominate golf. Turns out it wasn't just a sudden decision. Lorena had struggled with the pressures of professional golf for years. Even in her rookie season, she had considered quitting. The travel, the media obligations, the constant demand to perform at the highest level, it was exhausting. For someone who was winning so much, the grind was relentless. And by the time she turned 28, Lorena realized she wanted more out of life than just golf. It wasn't just the physical exhaustion that wore her down. Lorena had bigger goals in life, goals that went beyond trophies and titles. She wanted to focus on her family, her foundation, and giving back to her community. In doing so, she sacrificed the chance to be inducted into the LPGA Hall of Fame, which requires 10 years of competition. Most athletes would kill for that kind of recognition, but Lorena, she didn't care. "This is not going to change my mind," she said when asked about the Hall of Fame. "What I felt in my heart was different. It wasn't about the accolades." Lorena was chasing something bigger than sports. After her retirement, Lorena didn't disappear from the golfing world. She still makes her presence felt. She hosts an annual LPGA event in her hometown, at the very same Guadalajara Country Club where she first picked up a club at the age of 5. She's also heavily involved in her charity work through the Lorena Ochoa Foundation, which helps children through education. So, did she really walk away from the sport she loved? Or did she just find a new way to express that love? In the end, Lorena Ochoa's legacy is set in stone. She didn't need more trophies or records to prove her greatness. She left on her terms, at the top of the world, and chose a path that made her even more fulfilled. She may have stepped away from the professional circuit, but her impact on golf, and the lives she continues to touch through her charity, remains stronger than ever. Lorena Ochoa didn't just win at golf, she won at life. Even though Lorena chose to walk away from the professional spotlight, she stayed connected to the sport in ways that only deepened her legacy. By hosting her own LPGA tournament, the Lorena Ochoa Invitational, she made sure that Mexico stayed on the golfing map. The event became a beloved stop on the tour, not just for the beautiful course in Guadalajara, but because of Lorena herself. Players, sponsors, and fans all flocked to her tournament, knowing they were part of something special. It wasn't just about competition. It was about honoring one of the greatest to ever play the game and the community she still cherished. But perhaps Lorena's most lasting impact has been through her philanthropic work. The Lorena Ochoa Foundation is no vanity project. It's a deeply personal mission rooted in giving back to her hometown and helping kids in need. Through the foundation, she built schools in Guadalajara, providing education and resources to underprivileged children. Lorena's goal was simple yet profound: to offer opportunities to kids who might otherwise never get them, just like the ones she had when she was young. It's clear that Lorena didn't just want to be remembered for her victories on the golf course. She wanted her legacy to be about changing lives off it. And let's not forget that even though she left the professional circuit, Lorena's skills didn't just vanish. Whenever she's spotted on the course, whether it's giving tips to younger players or playing casually, she still has that swing that made her a legend. It's like she never left. Fans still wonder what might have happened if she had kept playing. How many more majors would she have won? Could she have become the undisputed GOAT of women's golf? But in true Lorena fashion, she never looks back with regret. She knows she made the right call for herself and her family. Her decision to retire at 28, at the height of her powers, wasn't just bold, it was revolutionary. So many athletes get consumed by the pursuit of more wins, more titles, more fame. But Lorena showed that sometimes the most powerful move is knowing when to step away. She didn't need the Hall of Fame to validate her career. She didn't need to chase down records until she was burnt out. Lorena left when she wanted to, and she did it her way. That's what makes her legacy even more special. In the end, Lorena Ochoa didn't just dominate her sport. She redefined success on her own terms. She's a reminder that greatness isn't just about what you achieve in the game. It's about who you are when the game is over. Lorena Ochoa walked away from professional golf, but she didn't walk away from making an impact. And that, more than any title or trophy, is what truly makes her legendary.